If you've ever wanted to talk to your favorite fictional cyborg or pizza joint employee, you'll be happy to hear that your wishes have been granted. But please don't annoy random office workers with prank calls. In Season 3 of Stranger Things, it's revealed that 618-625-8313 is the home phone number of Brett Gelman's Murray. And if viewers actually called it, they would be treated to a fairly long, though not exactly friendly message.
Do me a favor, hang up, and never call here again. You are a parasite.
Season 4 followed suit with the Surfer Boy pizza number 80545 Pizza, which led to the same rambling message Argyle answers the phone with in the show.
We make everything fresh here at Surfer Boy except for our pineapple, which comes from a can. But I still highly recommend slapping some juicy pineapple on your pie.
Another marketing stunt from Stranger Things included the number for Hawkins Power and Light, which revealed hints about the show.
Here at Hawkins Power and Light, we're committed to cultivating a perception of excellence.
That number is no longer associated with Stranger Things, though, as it's now connected to a medical supply company. 2019's Terminator Dark Fate altered the franchise's timeline to kill off John Connor, leaving his mother Sarah to pick up the pieces. Sarah eventually finds the Terminator that killed her son, but he's no longer a mindless killing machine. Instead, he goes by the name Carl and lives with a woman and her son in Laredo, Texas, where he owns a drapery business. In one scene, we clearly see Carl's van and phone number emblazoned on the side. And for a while, you could hear a message from the Terminator himself if you called it in the real world.
Hi, this is Carl's Draperies. We have the best drapes and curtains anywhere in Texas. I can guarantee you that.
After apologizing for not being there to take the call, the message concluded with a classic sign-off.
Until then, hasta la vista.
Unfortunately, the number is no longer assigned, but maybe it still exists in another timeline. The 2021 political satire Don't Look Up is about a massive comet hurtling towards Earth, while feckless politicians pretend there is no imminent danger. One scene features a public service announcement in which Dr. Randall Mindy explains that the Federal Emergency Management Agency has established a phone number to offer peace of mind to anyone who calls, so long as they're existing Bash cellular customers. If you call 254-63-COMET, you'll get the Bash hotline, which opens with the following message.
Thank you for calling the Bash hotline. Due to violent global destruction caused by the comet, we're experiencing a higher than normal call volume.
It then continues, please stay on the line and a live representative will be with you shortly. Live representative as in still living, so, it may be a minute. That message is followed by 15 minutes of music and ads. On the Big Bang Theory prequel series Young Sheldon, the title character revealed his home phone number on multiple occasions. And as it turned out, that number, 409-356-6049, was entirely real. When the show was on, fans could call it and hear a message from the main cast members on the Cooper family answering machine. Mary, George, Georgie, and Missy all offer typical answering machine banter, while Sheldon has a more unique preoccupation.
I will not be calling you back. Unless you're Professor Proton, in which case I cannot believe I missed your call.
The number stopped working for a period when the show ended in 2024, but now that the spin-off series Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage is on the air, the Cooper family number is active once again. The Breaking Bad spin-off Better Call Saul revealed the backstory of attorney Jimmy McGill, who changes his name to Saul Goodman partly because it's catchier for advertising. Throughout the show, Saul produces several commercials and park bench ads with his phone number clearly visible in many of them. And in the real world, a billboard was erected in Albuquerque, New Mexico with the phone number 505-842-5662 as part of a marketing campaign for the show. As of 2025, the number is still active, and it features a message from Saul promoting his law services and asking you to leave your information at the beep.
I'm the law guy, your law guy. That's right, Saul Goodman, attorney at law.
Originally, the message was from Jimmy McGill as Jimmy McGill, but it eventually changed to reflect the character's evolution into Saul. And that wasn't the only number from the show that fans could call, as there were also ones for the character of Nacho, the law firm Davis & Maine, and the salon where Saul kept a backroom office. In the Season 3 episode of The Office entitled Women's Appreciation, Phyllis is flashed in the office parking lot, which leads Pam to then draw the offender. Her sketch looks uncannily like Dwight without his glasses and includes the header, "This man is a pervert." Viewers were able to join in on the fun when it turned out that the number listed below the sketch was 100% legit.
Women can't have fun if they don't feel safe.
If you called the number while the show was still running, you would get a message from WB Jones Heating and Air Conditioning that included advice about how to set your thermostat for the winter and summer. This was followed by about 30 seconds of music before the call disconnected. As of 2025, though, the number now reaches a sex hotline that doesn't appear to have any connection with The Office. Throughout all 15 seasons of Supernatural, Dean Winchester maintained many cell phones, but his primary one always included a memorable voicemail note.
This is Dean's other cell, so you must know what to do.
In multiple episodes, Dean's number is clearly displayed as 866-907-3235. You can call that number today, but all you'll get is a sex hotline that happens to open with the exact same message as Dwight's number from The Office. But if you called it when Supernatural was on the air, you would be treated to audio clips of Dean from the show.
This is Dean Winchester. This is an emergency. Leave a message. If you're calling about 11283, please page me with your coordinates.
Supernatural fans know November 22, 1983 to be quite the significant date, as it was the day that Dean's mother Mary was killed. With its famous catchphrase that asked, "Who you gonna call?" it makes perfect sense that Ghostbusters would have a phone number that fans could actually call. In the original 1984 film, the Busters make a commercial that features the number 216-555-2368, and like most 555 numbers, it didn't work in the real world. But then, once the film became a hit, director Ivan Reitman decided to try out a marketing campaign that changed that number to 800-654-1984. That would lead to an audio message from Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray. Alas, that number is now defunct, but a new one was incorporated into the 2016 female-led Ghostbusters film. The marketing campaign included the number for the Ghostbusters hotline, which connected callers to Chris Hemsworth's Kevin. Another number was provided for the original film's 30th anniversary Blu-ray release. It's now defunct as well, but calling it when it was active connected you to the Ghostbusters secretary, Janine.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
In the first episode of Squid Game, Song Gi-hun receives a card from the salesman containing a phone number. If someone calls that number on the show, that means that they're opting into the game. When it turned out that that number was legitimate, thousands of viewers decided to get in on the fun. Alas, in the real world, that number wasn't associated with Squid Game. It led to an office worker in Seoul named Hannah Kim. Kim and others received thousands of calls and texts essentially asking them, "Is this Squid Game?" To prevent that from happening anymore, Netflix went ahead and edited the scene to remove the real number. In the 2004 Scrubs episode My Malpractical Decision, Dr. Turk gets a new phone number that he's incredibly proud of because it spells out 916-CALL-TURK.
Baby, if you call Turk, you get Turk. You got Turk.
When viewers called the number themselves, they weren't disappointed, as they were treated to a message from Donald Faison saying, "I couldn't get to the phone right now, but you called Turk, and that's a great thing, I'll tell you that much." The message also revealed the show's new time slot and asked viewers to keep watching. The number no longer works, but when it was active, some callers were lucky enough to speak to a live member of the cast or crew, including Ken Jenkins as Dr. Kelso, who answered, "You've called Turk, Dr. Kelso speaking." In the Gilmore Girls Season 5 premiere, Say Goodbye to Daisy Miller, Luke has a new phone number which viewers could call to hear a voice message recorded by Scott Patterson. He wasn't in character as Luke, though, as he instead encouraged callers to donate to the Johns Hopkins Children's Center in Baltimore, Maryland. Series creator Amy Sherman Palladino let Patterson decide what he would record, so he chose a charity that he supported. While Gilmore Girls ended its initial run in 2007, the phone number actually remains active and people continue to call. The person on the other end is a Connecticut electrician named Matt, who sometimes pretends to be Patterson for fun.
Use your cell phone.
I don't have a cell phone.
Early in the 2003 movie Bruce Almighty, Bruce gets several messages on his beeper asking him to call a number that he doesn't recognize. He does everything he can to avoid this annoying intrusion before finally calling and getting in touch with none other than God.
So come on down, or we'll just keep beeping you.
The phone number didn't include an area code, and as it turned out, you could pretty much add any area code into it and end up with a valid phone number, which resulted in real people fielding calls all over the country. One man in Florida received 20 calls an hour with people asking to speak to God. Similar stories popped up as the film's popularity grew, so Universal Pictures ended up issuing an apology and altered the number in subsequent home video and television releases. The 1999 movie Magnolia features a couple of phone numbers that were active when the film was out in theaters, and viewers could call them to hear some interesting messages. During one scene, Philip Seymour Hoffman's character calls 818-775-3993, and if you dialed those digits in real life, you would hear a woman asking you to leave a message at the tone. If you call it now, though, you'll just get a recording asking you to enter a number.
Is this 818-775-3993?
The other number comes from Frank T.J. Mackey's infomercial and features digits whose corresponding letters spell out "Tame Her." Calling that one led to a message recorded by Tom Cruise offering Mackey's Seduce and Destroy program details. The number is no longer connected to Magnolia, but instead, believe it or not, a sex chat line.
Seduce and Destroy produces an instant, money-back guaranteed trance-like state that will get you this naughty sauce.